To celebrate St. Patrick's Day this week, we are getting some love for the British Navy, a reskinned Baltimore with some goodies. So let's go over the stats because I'm seeing all sorts of crazy stuff out there. The kicker for this boat, 9.9 kilometer Indianapolis radar. It lasts 25 seconds. It has a higher Sigma rating, a faster reload by 2 seconds, and it has an improved British super heal, good for over 14,000 health. To balance this out, less health than Baltimore, stock Baltimore AP, so it's going to fly faster, have less pin, and deal less damage. So there's definitely good and bad things of this ship. The other interesting thing about the Celtic is that she, being British, is going to be used by British commanders. So that is mostly pretty good, unless you are a Shelly Beepley fiend like I am. But before we get there, Islands of Ice is the map we are on, and in typical radar support cruiser fashion, I'm sailing directly for the center of the epicenter. Even though I have Senkin's Way as backup, thanks for the support guys, I would likely make the same play if I were playing solo. Being this close to the action is the best thing that we can do to either kill or deny the enemy destroyers access to the middle of the map. You of course have to keep your head on a swivel as it makes you public enemy number one, but anyways, yeah, that's probably the correct play. Back to the build though. Turret traverse is a bit of a problem, so I'm using the turret traverse module, prop, concealment, and MBM3. Free to play? Look no further than Bruce Fraser and Spec All DPM. Makawa and Muller are of course my go-tos for cruisers. Pretty vanilla of me, I know. If you want a specialized premium build though, Hot Rod, the Transformers Commander is tailored pretty well for this ship. Ingenious is likely the best cruiser perk in slot 1, and Full Speed Ahead is likely the second best cruiser skill. Hot Rod's special skill also buffs radar duration, which helps with the shorter 25-second duration. So I have this awesome premium commander. Why did I end up liking Bruce Fraser so much more? By the way, he's the commander on in this game in the background, which was my best result out of about 8 games. A couple reasons I liked Bruce more. One, I was in a division, so I didn't really need the more well-rounded build with speed and ingenious, but having a straight-up DPM and firepower focused build helped a lot playing the way I was playing, and that is up-close cap support. I love the versatility to be able to get around the map, and Ingenious helps you stay alive, but in the same breath, games are often decided very quickly by a well-positioned radar cruiser near objectives, and Fraser's firepower helped me clean some DD clocks, and to be more effective spamming from cover throughout the rest of the match. I didn't really have to travel very far from where I first positioned myself. As always though, I would recommend seeing what works best for you. Also worth noting, with Hot Rod and the more mobility or defensive skilled commanders, I felt as if my damage output was pretty anemic. And that is frustrating, to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, to look up at the boards and only see 30,000 damage. I know damage isn't everything, hunting DDs probably is, but if you're not able to hurt battleships, you're missing out on being effective against 50% of the enemy teams. So anyways, that's kind of my thought process. You can let me know what you think of that. Now, let's see some stats of the Celtic compared to the rest of the field. And I'm actually going to color code this. The Baltimore, the Celtic, the Wichita from Wish.com, and the Rochester. Because really they could all be on your shopping list at this point. So here are the health pools. This is of course kind of deceiving, because we can compare their heals. The Celtic has a clear advantage here, and it gives a massive effective HP pool compared to the others. Also worth noting on this list, remember for the Rochester, you have to give up your heals for smoke. So yeah. Onto the guns. Celtic is going to set less fires without a doubt than the others, but it's still going to rank number 1 in raw DPM. On that note, the waters get really muddy here, guys, in terms of shell performance, and I really don't want you to glaze over here, but let me give you a quick rundown. The original Baltimore, with the gun upgrade, of course, is likely the best performing AP of the lot, because it has improved pin angles, the highest alpha, and better shell velocity than the Rochester. Remember, Rochester has slower shells, and Wichita does not get improved pin angles, and really that's about as in-depth as my brain can handle on this Monday night. So just note that not all of the shells are created equal. Moving on, the AA performance, and I cannot comment on flak bursts or anything like that because we're not provided that information on Legends, but Rochester is still hands down the best AA cruiser. Here is the speed. Wichita is going to be number 1, although they're all pretty comparable. Rudder shift, Wichita again, Turning Circle, Wichita, and they all have the same concealment. So in terms of maneuverability, Wichita is going to be hands down the best performer. If I were going to take my pick of the 4, I would actually choose the Wichita. I know it's a bit of a knockoff from the CE version, but it's still really, really good. And while Celtic might be the best overall now, Wichita has the ridiculous maneuverability and without even really trying, and I love that. That's a lot of fun for me. Celtic, though, is likely going to be called the best of this group now. And yes, I know I'm comparing these all straight across, and I can hear the comments now that, you know, well, the Baltimore is a Baltimore class, and the Rochester is a Brooklyn class, and the Wichita is a blah, blah, blah. Let's not split hairs. It's a video game. But for Tier 7 American heavy cruisers that you can buy, Celtic, having the longer range radar and the better heals for essentially the same armor scheme, is probably the best of all of these cruisers now. Now, personally, I still wouldn't buy it if I had the Baltimore unlocked. Baltimore is still an extremely capable American heavy cruiser. The AP is loads better than any of the other 4, it pins more armor, it has improved pin angles, and one thing I noticed about the Celtic's higher velocity shells is they tend to overpin cruisers, and that is actually pretty annoying. Being a British cruiser, though, instead of American, it's a unique feature, I suppose, although I don't see any British cruiser commanders being any better suited for them than the American cruiser commanders. So it's just different. It's not really in a good way or a bad way that I saw with my fiddling around with the commanders. With the 9.9 kilometer radar, the question of stealth radar comes up, and yes, you can easily make that work with the Celtic. Stealth radar is among the most powerful builds in World of Warships, and it just means whenever you become spotted and you don't see anything in return, it's likely a destroyer, so you power on your radar and the DD is going to be within your radar range. With my Bruce Fraser build, Mikawa and concealment module, detection is 10.2 and the radar is 9.9. So it's essentially stealth radar without having to use Swirsky. If you put Swirsky on there, yeah, it's a true stealth radar cruiser. My final verdict of this ship, 4.5 out of 5 stars. The consumables are just too freaking good, especially when paired with the Baltimore platform that in itself is very strong to begin with. Throw in amazing AA, the best DPM of these style American heavies, and I think we have a ringer here. $70 is still a stupid amount of money though, so of course I don't condone buying it. But hey, now you have the lowdown, you can make the decision for yourself. On that note, guys, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button, as that would greatly help the channel out, and I do thank you for your continued support. I never thought more than a handful of people would tune in to watch these ship reviews, so I guess I'm doing something right. Thanks so much, guys, and this game is wrapping up in the background once we finish off the old torpeds here. Celtic, is it pay to win? Oh boy. Let's not have that conversation again, but it is really, really stinking good. Anyways, I would love to hear your comments down below, so please leave them. I try to respond to everyone if I can. Yeah, and with that, I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.